Welcome back, Math Grizz. Today, we will round numbers to the nearest 10 and 100. Round 89 to the nearest 10 and 100. Let's start with the nearest 10. Here we have tens. We need to think. 89. Where does 89 fall between? 89 falls between 80, which is a 10, and 90, which is also a 10. We will write 80 and 90. We know halfway is 85. 89 is greater than 85, so it will go on this side of the number line. Now, let's think. Is 89 closer to 90 or closer to 80? We notice that 89 is closer to 90, so 89 rounds to 90. Now let's round to the nearest 100. Here we have hundreds. Let's think. 89. 89 falls between which hundreds? 89 falls between 0 and 100. Let's write 0, 100. Halfway is 50. 89 is greater than 50, so it will go on this side of the number line. So does 89 round to no hundreds or 100? It rounds to 100. So 89 rounded to the nearest 100 is 100. 237 rounded to the nearest 10 and nearest 100. Let's start with tens. Here we have tens. Let's think. 237. We're focusing on the tens. We have 37. 37 is between which two tens? 37 is between 30 and 40. So we know we will have to write 230, and then the next 10 will have to be 240. We know 37 falls somewhere between 30 and 40. We know halfway between 230 and 240 is 235. 237 is greater than 235. So does 237 round to 240? Or is it closer to 230? 237 is closer to 240. And remember, we're rounding to the nearest 10. That's why we're counting by tens. 240. And now we will round to the nearest 100. Here we have a list with hundreds. Let's think. 237. 237 will fall between 200 and 300. Let's write that. Halfway is 250. 237 is less than 250. So will it round to 200 or 300? It's closer to 200. So 237 rounded to the nearest 100 is 200. We notice that we're rounding the same number, but when we round to the tens place, we end up with a 10. When we round to the hundreds place, we end up with 100. 468. Let's round to the nearest 10 first. Here we have tens. 468. I see 68. What tens surround 68? I know that 60 and 70 surround 68. So we need 460 and 470. Halfway is 465. 468 is greater than halfway. So will it round to 470 or 460? It's closer to 470. Now let's round the same number to the closest or nearest 100. Now 468 will fall between 400 and 500. Halfway is 450. 468 is greater than 450. Will it round to 400 or is it closer to 500? It's closer to 500. So 468 rounded to the nearest 100 is 500. We have the same number that we're rounding. Now you notice when we round to the nearest 10, we have a 10. When we round to the nearest 100, we have a 100, which is 500. 124 to the nearest 10. We have our tens. 124. 24 is near which two tens? 24 is near 20 and 30. So we need 120 and we need 130. Halfway is 125. 124 is less than halfway. So will it round to 130 or 120? It's closer to 120. so it rounds to 120. Now let's work on hundreds. 124 is between 100 and 200. Now halfway is 150. 124 is less than 150. So will it round to 100 or 200? It will round to 100 because it's closer to 100 and further away from 200. So again, we have a 10 when we round to the tens place, and we have a 100 when we round to the hundreds place.